This photograph captures a specific American dream: the sprawling house, the pristine classic cars parked in the driveway. It is a culture that celebrates wealth by making it as visible as possible. This chart shows the fragility behind the performance. On the left is an annual income of $63,000. On the right, a savings account holding just $812. This gap represents the reality for millions of high earners, caught in the machinery of frictionless spending. We congratulate each other for buying things: a new wardrobe, the latest phone upgrade, a kitchen gadget to replace the one still sitting in its box. We accumulate objects and mistake that accumulation for financial security. In traditional Japanese culture, the relationship with money is different. They practice a concept called tsutsumashi, living in a modestly reserved way. Financial restraint carries deep social respect. The quieter you live, the more admired you are. Building lasting security rarely requires a bigger paycheck. It requires replacing a consumer mindset with a different operating system, one built on intentional restraint. Most modern budgeting apps cycle from popularity to abandonment within months. By automating the math, the app does all the work, leaving the user's brain passive and disconnected from the reality of their daily spending. The defense against this begins with a habit called chokin. Money is moved out of the account the moment it arrives, long before any spending can begin. Watch how the paycheck rapidly pours in and expands to the edges of the container. Without an immediate boundary, daily spending naturally inflates to consume all available income. Now the chokin barrier drops in, instantly walling off 20%. Your lifestyle naturally adjusts to the compressed, smaller space. This physical restriction is paired with a century-old handwritten ledger system called kakeibo, originally designed for housewives managing family spending. Writing down every purchase by hand creates cognitive friction. It forces the brain to consciously process where the remaining money is going. American financial culture is built on eliminating friction through tap-to-pay and one-click purchases. Reintroducing deliberate slowness and a strict sequence into your spending forces a level of awareness that high-speed automation was designed to bypass. Tracking where money goes eventually shifts how you view what you own. In Japan, there is a deep emotional response to wasting a useful resource called mottainai. Throwing away something that still holds value is a source of genuine moral discomfort. Contrast that feeling with the embedded waste in the United States. Watch this time-lapse of fresh produce. American households throw roughly 30% of the food they buy directly into the garbage, discarding thousands of dollars a year from their own refrigerators. One antidote to this constant cycle of consumption is wabi-sabi, the aesthetic appreciation of things that are imperfect, aging, and incomplete. A sweater with a small mend or a table with scratches from family dinners is not broken. The wear adds to its value. The consumer economy relies on aesthetic dissatisfaction. Replacing a phone because of a scratched screen, or buying a new couch because the cushions are slightly flattened, quietly drains hundreds of thousands of dollars from a lifetime's potential wealth. Choosing to repair rather than replace, and finding satisfaction in items that are slightly worn but still functional, is a highly effective form of capital protection. This discipline of physical boundaries extends to a concept seen here in Okinawa, where these elder villagers practice hara hachi. It is the teaching of stopping at 80% capacity, rather than consuming until entirely full. Applied to personal finance, this principle sets a strict ceiling. It requires calculating exactly 4/5 of your take-home pay and committing to live entirely within that boundary, leaving the rest completely untouched. This graph reveals the staggering gap between those two philosophies. The flat line shows the standard American default, a savings rate hovering around 4%. The sharply rising curve maps the Japanese 20% target over 30 years, reaching $1.47 million. Living on less can be a path toward greater freedom. Practices like shinrin-yoku, spending quiet, contemplative time in nature, represent a broader choice toward free living. The richest moments of daily life happen without a transaction. In the US, leisure is almost synonymous with spending. Decoupling your social life from commerce, trading concert tickets and shopping excursions for park visits and cooking with friends, drastically drops entertainment costs without sacrificing the experience. Leaving 20% of your budget, your schedule, or your closet empty creates margin. That empty space provides the room where financial resilience and future opportunity actually live. Without a structured system of maintenance, even the best intentions will eventually drift back into thoughtless consumption. Systems break down when they are set up and then ignored. The mechanism to prevent this is hansei. It is a practice of sincere, guilt-free self-reflection. Applied as a monthly audit, it closes the loop on the handwritten ledger, asking what went well and what requires adjustment, without any attached judgment. This monthly check is reinforced by oosouji, an annual tradition of physical and mental deep cleaning. Translating this to your money means executing a ruthless yearly audit of all automated subscriptions, insurance premiums, and recurring drains. Catching unused memberships and renegotiating drifting rates routinely rescues thousands of dollars a year that were quietly leaking from your accounts while you weren't looking. Lasting financial discipline demands these regular, intentional resets to constantly realign daily actions with long-term intentions. When it is time to make those adjustments, a method of execution matters. This photograph of a factory celebration highlights the origins of kaizen. Rather than attempting massive financial overhauls, kaizen focuses on microscopic, continuous 1% improvements. There is a neurological reason this succeeds where typical budgeting fails. Radical budget cuts trigger the brain's fear center, prompting resistance. Tiny adjustments, like canceling a single subscription, slip past that defense mechanism, allowing change to accumulate without burning through your willpower. These tiny actions must be pointed toward a specific target. That requires ikigai, identifying your exact reason for being. Once you define the specific life you are building, that purpose acts as an ultimate filter, making impulse purchases feel irrelevant. A single drop creates expanding ripples across the surface of the pond. A simple notebook, an automatic transfer, and a refusal to buy things you don't need seem insignificant today, but they stack and compound over decades until the results are wildly disproportionate to the effort. Quiet wealth is built every single day through a sustained respect for your resources, a respect for your future self, and the absolute discipline to finally choose enough.